How do we bring back the stream?
Did you eat your one donut?
I thank you for the one donut. I actually
Hang on,
grabbed
I think,
a bag of many donuts from the other room because
Oh, that's so awesome.
because one is not enough.
Are we on? I think we're
No,
back.
are we back?
I think we're back.
We're
Hi.
back.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
You
Okay.
missed us all running
Yeah.
around, freaking out, trying to turn the
Yeah.
stream back on.
And crying at the same time.
And crying at the same time. It's complicated, okay?
Okay. Stephanie,
Yes.
it's yours.
All right.
you
You
wanna-
wanted to show the mountain, right?
Oh, right. So
So-
I drew mountain on the back of my phone. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Wait.
Can
There
you
we
see
go.
that? Yeah, there we go.
Oh no. Mountain was so intense that
Yeah.
he caused the stream to hiccup.
In Sharpie. He goes with me everywhere.
Do you want the donuts?
No.
All right, we gotta turn it over. I'm
got-
sorry for making your keyboard soggy.
Oh, jeez. You saw the leaving the nest
Right.
stream, right?
Yeah, I know. We're a bunch of huge crybabies.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be back at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Yep.
And then there will be more crying.
Okay.
Hopefully not. But
Probably
I'm gonna cry.
Probably. Okay.
Cool. So, I'm just gonna say that right now.
All right. Hey, everybody.
Is someone coming to be with you, or is
Oh,
just you?
Luke is gonna come
Okay.
whenever he gets in, and
you.
we will talk about stuff. Actually, if you want to stick around and talk with me for a little while,
I will. Let me just go
There-
put the stuff down and
yeah.
I'll come back.
let's see. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
It's super good to see you. The stream has been going on for 2 hours, and we're switching off every 2-hour period. So it starts with, as you see, like Ali and Brad up here, and then like best pictures ever with me and Luke. It is so good to see all of you. Like, I'm so happy to be here streaming today. Like, I'm so happy. It's been a really crazy journey. You know, it's been 5 years for me working on Stonehearth. And, one thing I want to do before we start is, Kythandra left me a build, and I wanted to load it. I've never seen it before, so we can see it for the first time together. But first I have to find the build. Hey, welcome back.
I'll stay with you for a little bit.
Thank you. Kythandra sent me a build, and I've never seen it before. And I thought, I thought we would see it together on the stream. Basically, Kythandra asked me what I would like to see, like, if they could make me one more beautiful build in Stonehearth. And I asked them for a build that everyone, like, on the team and everybody, like, on the stream and everyone on the discourse could all, like, be Hearthlings in and, like, hang out together in for, you know, ever, basically. And so that's the build that they sent me. And let's see what happens.
I tried to open Alpha 1 and it wouldn't open it.
What?
I don't know, it was out of the Stream 200 folder. Everything ran fine before, but didn't want to run.
Oh, interesting. Alpha 1 is on strike. Okay, but so this build is called Castrovide, and let me open Steam. Steam, where are you? And then we can log in and see what it is, what it's like. Would it be possible to get Ali's wonderful art pieces put up in high-res versions for wallpapers to download for us? We should really look into that.
Yeah.
So
we will, as we said,
yeah.
we're going to have the art book.
Yes.
So they'll all be in the art book, but we can probably
we should find a way.
make the splash screens available as well.
Yeah, and we should find a way to distribute the art book to, like, everybody, basically. Just like the OST. Like, I don't know if it's something that... I don't know exactly how,
Yeah.
but that's definitely something we should take a look at. So, sorry, give me a moment as I take this file and put it in a place where we're able to use it. Browse local files. Yes, that's it. Castrovide? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, okay. Whoa, alright, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Right.
Oh, you looked.
I looked! Alright. I just wanted to make sure that I was loading the right thing. I saw something kind of wintry. Okay, I'm gonna hit play. Microlost says, Brad, did you work on LEGO Universe?
I did not work on LEGO Universe. I left LEGO before LEGO Universe happened.
I feel like I remember hearing about it when we were first, like, working on Stonehearth, basically. And I was so excited, but then I lost track of it. Maybe in all the things. Alright. How's the sound? Alright, cool. We're good. Okay. Just want to make sure that I can still see you. Did you guys talk about this amazing piece of splash art?
That's
Like,
why Allie was crying.
oh my god.
Because we were talking about how this is sort of Stonehearth in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the last splash, but it's not saying goodbye. These are everybody who's in it are people who have been in past splashes.
Yes.
But here they all are, and their stories are continuing. So it's not goodbye. We're just stepping away.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, that totally would make me cry. Did you guys talk about the ambiguity of the pie? Because I think that the ambiguity of the pie is part to me of Stonehearth's, like, I mean, there's Stonehearth, and then there's, like, you know, the silly universe that lives around Stonehearth. Did you guys talk about the pie?
We did not talk about the pie.
Okay, like, you guys, there's a pie here. There's a pollo here. What is the relationship between this pollo and this pie? I mean, it could be a berry pie. We did just add those. Yeah. However, berry pies have berries all around the top. Alright.
It's a mystery, and you can resolve it any way you want.
Actually, did you guys talk about this pollo?
Yes. Determined pollo?
Determined pollo.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, okay. Determined pollo is my hero. Determined pollo is just, like, doing all this stuff. So, it might be that this screen is actually the beginning of the pollo revolution. Like, perhaps right behind, like, as this person is, like, crusting the thing, discovering Determined pollo, there's, like, thousands, millions of pollos massing behind this house, like, ready to erupt forth and make their statement about pies better known. Anyway.
Stonehearth 2.
Stonehearth 2.
Planet of the Pollos.
Planet of the Pollos. I mean, like, you know, I've definitely seen ducks eat chicken and, like, yeah, like, okay, so Castrovide. Alright, Jamaxer's doorway mod, rivers.
So apply changes.
Yeah. Except for some reason this is disabled. Maybe I need to subscribe to them first?
Oh, missing. Yeah, you're missing those. So
okay. Cool. So...
Or you could just apply the configuration. Well, things would be missing, so...
Right, yeah. Okay. I will just go back briefly to Workshop and check them out. I'm super, like... Workshop makes me so happy. Alright, so first we're gonna subscribe to and apply rivers, and then we're gonna subscribe to and apply doorways. Probably easy. Stonehearth doorways by MacGyver. Yeah, there we go. Okay. You are indeed MacGyver, Joe Maxro. For all of us who remember MacGyver as a show.
It's still a show.
Can I just
it's
click?
It's been rebooted.
It's still on the show. Really?
Yes. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Man. Okay. Would it be possible to get a lore book, says Michael Handy, so that the modders can expand on it and builders can use it as a reference? So Michael Handy, inside the ACE thread on Discourse, I actually sent a PDF of the lore that we had. All the collected lore that I thought, the most recent versions of it. It's not all correct, again, because the lore isn't final until it makes it into the game. So as a team, we agree to change whatever it is we need to change until it makes it in there. So, all right, apply save mods and continue. Okay. So there is something out there for you guys. It's in there. It's a PDF, and it's not very complete. Like it's not. There isn't a lot in there. In part because I think our lore is like something that we change a lot instead of adding to. So it's more like there's a small amount of stuff that undergoes a large amount of change. But what we have, happy to talk about whenever. Is it still being worked on to be in the game? I don't think so.
The lore? No,
the
we're
lore,
not. I mean, we're not developing the lore anymore. No.
And you'll jump all over that in the Ace form, so go for it, I think. Okay. Question about appeal. Do large objects produce their appeal value in every unit or spread out throughout the object's space? That's a really interesting question, and I don't know the answer. I feel like you can probably find the answer by turning on the appeal view and reasoning it out for yourself. More in the sense of like, what you want to do with the appeal view is it's more like a sensor. It's sort of like, oh hey, at this square, what is the appeal here? So like, you know, test it out and see, and maybe it'll help and maybe it won't.
This must be a large build, but I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. Well, I saw that picture, right? Bruno Supremo says, oh my god.
Wow.
I feel like this is a real place. Like,
it is a real place.
I know, like, but I mean, like I could go visit it in Europe or something. This is just gorgeous, Kythandra. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so what's going on here? First of all, mercifully, the game is paused, and it is also the very beginning of spring. Before I unpause it, because you know when you first unpause a game, like, everything goes bananas. Okay.
Yeah, but go before you unpause it. Also go into the main building, because he always like builds out stuff inside.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like like there's snow on top of everything, which is like, okay. So I want to do a tour. Like, let's pretend that we are like visiting Castrovide for the first time, like from the distance. So it's like you come over the cliff. And then you're like, whoa, there's like roofs on the thing. Yeah, we're almost there. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Oh, and I see. So here's a river. And it's like, oh, look, like it's snowing, but the trees, like, you know, there's a safe space under the trees. I really love the winter stumps. Okay, so we're coming. There's a river. Like, it's actually quite difficult to get in if you look like,
right. Well,
like,
it is defended.
It is defended. Yeah, there's only a couple of places.
Yeah, I like the watchtowers.
Oh.
See little watchtowers on the corners.
No, these guys. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, there's beacons in them.
Saying, like, yeah.
Okay. And I like too how there's like, here's the flute, like, use this to like defend yourself from Mountain and Ogo. So you stand here, you shoot down, and oh, it's like there's a little bit of grass growing on the sides of the. Oh, this is so smart. It's like, so instead of like having only one choke point, so that, you know, there's like a ladder to get up to the parapet, like, you can get to the parapet from anywhere. That's awesome. Those must be the shadows of those trees. Okay, so you enter Castrovide, and you're like, oh, farms. What do we have here? Ooh, air blooms. And farms fenced in. Make sure that the hungry Northern Alliance animals don't get in here. A mysterious trapper's field that yields food, even so. These are really cute houses. I feel like these houses look like houses that Pandemic may have made or that Tom may have made a while ago with the, like, cozy side doors.
Can you go in?
Yeah. Alright, but before we invade anyone's privacy, market stalls and the market trader, and ooh, it's a military town. And good.
They're paused. You can go in. They won't notice.
They won't notice. Open air blacksmith, open air weaver, lots and lots of chests, good accessibility. Alright, we're gonna take down these walls. Oh my god. Wow, alright. This is just great. This knight, like, you know, like, holding their cake while standing on top of the table, like, triumphant.
Get your shoes off the table.
Hey, everyone's eating cake. Actually,
No.
this person might be eating omelet.
Well,
Things we never knew. These are really... Oh! Look, it's bunny people! Bunny people standing around the bunny hearth. Yes! I feel like, Kythandra, you have a gift for making the interiors dense and
Yes.
beautiful. Like...
well, alive.
Yeah, like this feels like a real house. Like, down to this vase over here. The bunny people. Oh my goodness. Cozy side. Ooh, it's one of those bunny tokens. Amberstone pedestal. Necessary for Amberstone homes. So maybe the bunnies actually
Yeah.
live here. Comfy bed. Yes. Huh. It tells you who it was crafted by? That's really interesting. I did not notice that. Maybe it's like a really fancy bed? Yes, I see. Because it's of excellent quality.
Okay.
So
It only tells you who made it when it's really
when it's
nice.
really good, yeah. Oh, maybe when
Yeah.
it's like medium nice, but not when it's just like a normal one. It's like, oh, the crafter like
Yeah.
put his mark on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got these like ambiguous sheep jail things. Is this Bluebell? This is Bluebell. Oh, it's Bluebell
Yes.
the sheep.
By the way, we showed Repeat Pan's Disco Sheep
Good.
because we had to.
Because we had to, yeah. This is just a great placement of these banners. I think Kythandra was one of the first people I saw to use like the banners as curtains, and yeah, just good stuff. The sheep seems to have escaped. Okay, so this is the courtyard of the castle. What is in the keep itself? If like the courtyard is invaded, like what recourse do people have? Ooh, level 6 knight has all the buffs. Okay, we come in here. There are more watchtowers here at the corners. Oh, you come into the guardhouse. And then suddenly you're in this bustling castle courtyard. And I feel like it just really also captures how the interior of a castle is really just like a much more fortified town. So it's like, oh yeah, there's still buildings. Like, maybe this is like some sort of like, you know, city hall or whatever. And I love the Elizabethan half timber going on over here. Okay, so it's like castle feels like a good collection of houses. And now in the style of all good dollhouses, what happens when we like take all the walls down and look. Okay. Awesome. So like very functional, wonderful spiral staircase sort of guardhouse going on over here. Yeah, coming up. And then
It's the kitchen. It's
the
the
kitchen. Like a place, or at the very least a place for people to warm their hands by the fire. And then maybe a barracks? Oh my god! Okay, that was a surprise. I was not expecting this building to be the Friendship to Bunnies building, but this is adorable. Oh my goodness. The statue of Nut. Like, Amberstone Rabbit statue. I feel like there's a really good story now. Like, I don't really know, like, I never really thought about
Kythandra was on, but he left a little bit ago. But
yeah.
would love to know what his story is.
I just now I know that like Nut the like rabbit spirit like has a relationship to the bunny people, and if it's like actual or just in lore, like either way it's still really cool. I just love too how the structure of this house like echoes the structure of the bunny statue. Like, you know, it feels like it was custom built for the bunny statue.
I mean, I guess he discovered it, and I wonder if that's where he started and he built around it.
Ooh, it's possible. This is terrain, so it's just so gorgeous. It's like a bunny church almost. Like, and you just feel like you'd go inside, and it would be like really quiet and like cool. Like it would be quiet and warm, like catching all the light and like sunlight coming in, and like at this scale, the bunny would just be so overwhelming. Like, you'd be like, oh my god, what am I even looking at? Like, when you go into those Buddhist temples or whatever, and, like, 90% of them are filled with, like, a statue of the Buddha, and you're like, whoa, you're super huge. Okay.
Yeah, there was one that I went to it was in Beijing, where it was, like, one of the few temples they have there, but it's, like, it's a four-story statue.
Oh my goodness.
And the building is built around the statue.
It's like, how do you get the ship inside the bottle? Well, I also like these chimneys. Like, they feel very authentic. Like, how do we get a smoke out of our house?
I would say it makes me feel better about the
open fire pit.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, yes, this brazier.
Like, yeah.
This just feels so right to me. Like, so accurate. Oh, look. Like, the glowing, the hearth buds. Hearth essence and hearth bud seeds.
Dare you press play?
Oh, I feel like I'm just still looking at the dollhouse, but okay. In a moment. Oh, look at this one. Yes, it's totally like town feast hall thing. Yeah. Oh, and the tiny statue of Monkey. Really, like, the number of, like, decorations has proliferated since me making Desktop Tuesdays and looking for more decorations. It's just so... Oh, I see a plushy rabbit. Right there. You know it. She loves you. A toy for children, of course. Yes. Yes, of course. Oh, this is the fancy bedroom. Ooh. I like how the green boxes matching the green beds. Oh my gosh. It's like looking at an awesome playset. And I love how you just, it's like, yeah, walls down, walls up. You can do that without liking the whole game now. Okay, I'm gonna press play. And look at the Lua go! Look at it! Filter cache. Alright, we figured out how to do the filtering. Okay.
How many... Do we see how many?
36.
36?
36 Earthlings! And we're doing alright. Happy patrolling. Everyone's looking around, you bet. Oh look, I'm very excited about doors. Oh, this is so gorgeous. Thank you so much, Kythandra. I really, really appreciate it. I will play with this a whole bunch later. It is alive now. Like, I don't know, are they happy about those statues? They're neutral about that. Yeah. Oh, look, this is a person with magnificent beard. Did you see the sparkles coming off that beard? Oh my gosh. I just feel that there's something really cozy too, because, like, it's snowing and, like, oh, it's got, like, worker cricket. Worker cricket. It's snowing and the castle feels really safe and the countryside feels really peaceful and quiet. For the moment. Yeah, I don't see any evidence of one of those Titan summoning gongs, but... Wait, but where? Aha! Wow. Alright.
But they have no way in.
Well, they have to break down these doors.
Right.
Do-doom. Alright. 7. Oh, look. It just hitched.
Oh, we've now added, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new entities to the world?
That's true. So it's like, oh, look, the
36,
CPU.
7, 42.
This is awesome! You can do it, guys! Yeah! You grab that epic kobold archer person. We had the longest conversation yesterday about whether kobolds were... It's a toasty thing. We had this epic conversation about whether or not, like, kobolds were dogs or lizards, like,
or dragons.
Or dragons, yeah. And in Stonehearth, they are descended from lizard and lizard cycle, just like the goblins. But Justin has strong feelings that kobolds are small, cute dogs, and that we've just depicted them incorrectly. Look at all of them. They're, like, so pleased with themselves. They're like, yes, we totally did it. And this bolt of leather looks just like a cinnamon roll. Mmm.
Okay, well, I must depart.
Yes. Thank you for hanging out.
Schedule. Sure.
Absolutely. I will see you later.
Okay. Yep.
We are having lots and lots and lots of tea.
Oh, by the way,
later.
we did tell people, we'll reiterate that for those of you who are waiting, that we're going to make the Mac version available later today.
What? Really?
Really?
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And Angelo will provide all of the details, but it'll come out on an unstable branch. But yes.
That's amazing. Angelo has been working so hard on this. I have goosebumps.
You're a wizard, Angelo.
He really is. He's a wizard, and I'm so, so grateful. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So, thank you, Kythandra, for this beautiful, beautiful city. And actually, one of the things that I'd thought about doing, in addition to looking at this awesome, cool save, which I will make a save here since we epically killed those people, I was thinking that, I actually have a folder on my computer, and it's called Surprises, and that folder's been around for 5 solid years, and it's a shortcut in all of my menus so that from anywhere, from any part of my computer, I can very easily save a picture of a surprise, and of a thing that I find surprising. So I actually copied that folder to this computer, and so I thought that maybe we could spend some time going through that folder with you guys and see, what, as a walk down memory lane, as a collection of the things that stood out to me as special and important over the course of making Stonehearth. Right, so you didn't hear him, you feel like you missed something. Right, so the Mac version of the game will be on an unstable branch later today, which is a really, really big deal because, Angelo is also one of the primary leads on multiplayer, and so, he basically has to switch his time between working on multiplayer stuff and working on Mac stuff, and so he's been working on that Mac port, basically on his nights and weekends, because it's, a really terrible trade-off, right? Do you do something that is going to make the game, a lot better for everyone, or are you going to do something that's going to make the game playable, even playable at all, for a much smaller number of people? How do you make that decision? It's kind of it's one of, I think, the fundamental philosophical decisions that human beings have to make. It's do I do the thing that is the great, that results in the best good for all people, or do I do the thing that results in the best good for a small number of people? A little good for a lot of people is usually it's usually more of a trade-off when it's a little good for a lot of people and a lot of good for a small number of people, but in this case multiplayer seemed like a lot of good for a lot of people. Anyway, now that multiplayer is pretty stable, he's been working really, really hard on this mech port, and it's kind of goosebump inducing how much progress he's made, so I really look forward to seeing that out in the wild for all of the rest of you soon. Okay, so, right, Mac and PC, exactly. Yes, so you, I think, will be able to play Stonehearth cross-platform. So if you have a friend who's on a Mac and you have a friend who's on a PC, I think you should be able to play multiplayer together. I'm pretty sure. You should ask him, and he will be on, at 1 o'clock. So you can ask him all of your Mac questions at that point, or if, someone on the team who's watching the stream right now, sees him and wants to ask him and wants to answer, please do so. Okay, so I'm going to open my dev stream folder. I'm going to open my surprises folder and see where this goes. Okay, so this is my surprises folder. I've been living out of this folder for a while. It's a little bit weird because sometimes it takes a while to load, and I don't really understand why some stuff is in it, and as I've discovered that Windows doesn't do really great with folders after a certain point. They just stop working. So we're gonna sort by, let's sort by date. So folders just don't do very well in Windows once you add a certain number of pictures to them. If you add 5 years worth of pictures, it gets pretty bad. So Stonehearth Max says multiplayer is cross-platform, so I'm super excited. Now I can finally play with all of those friends of mine who are I don't game anymore. I only use Max, and I'm ha ha ha, now we're gonna have to be able to play Stonehearth together. So take that, people. Alright, cool. So, right, what is up here with this surprises folder? I think that there's going to be a lot here. This is sorted in... How do you want... What? Okay, this is a... how about we just open it in photo gallery? How hard is this? Right, so this folder goes all the way back to the beginning, and this is something that I stuffed in here during the Kickstarter, and I don't remember if anyone really remembers this. It's like, I don't even know what yeah. Just, wow. We're, I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure I wrote this. For the Kickstarter, as a Kickstarter reward is like an update. So, Healing Crosswinds Caravan, transcript, early summer, immediately before the incident. Therapist. There are therapists in Stonehearth. I just want to preface this session by saying that it is incredibly rare to have representatives from so many different cultures present in our circle. It's my hope that your varied perspectives will provide the extra edge required for healing. Now, where was I? Right. It is perfectly acceptable to have an object of obsession. Everybody has one. The key is to realize that your talisman exists to enable your will, not the other way around. Alright? Good. Let's go around. Patient number 1. My name is, Aaron Blackwood, son of Fredor Blackwood, son of Brogan Blackwood, and... God, this is hard. I'm here because I have a problem with my compass. I see the needle tremble, and I have to go. I have to see what's beyond the next rise. Even when it's time for dinner, or when I promised to build my kids a kite. Last week, rabbits ate all the cabbage, and the missus wasn't happy because she needs to get in her compass time too, and it wasn't fair for her... It wasn't fair to her for me to neglect that. Therapist. Thank you, Aaron. Identifying the problem is the first step to healing. I wrote this? Next, patient 2. One of the things that resonated with me was your use of the word fair. Equality is of extreme importance to the proper function of society, is it not? The tea set I use now belonged to my grandfather, and his grandfather before him. It is the very porcelain over which Inala the Great brokered trade with the Malboroughnese. But... Therapist. I understand. Take a moment. But I never wanted to be a trader, even though it's the profession which everyone in my family excels, even myself. But secretly I've always wondered what else I might have been. Though it benefit my people, is it really fair to me that I must do that which I am most optimized for? Therapist. These are deep questions. It is all right that they not be solved in a day. Next. Patient 3. Huh? Is there anything you'd like to say? Patient 3. No? Therapist. Well, why don't you just tell us about the saw you're holding? Patient 3. What saw? Therapist. The one in your hand. The one that you're using. On the chair you're supposed to be sitting on. Oh. Well? I like saws? And then... Blood brush. So, I think it's safe to say that when we originally conceived of Stonehearth, we thought it would be like a really, really cute game. And then Tom was like, yeah, but I want it to be dark like Dwarf Fortress. And so, like, I tried to lean in that direction. I really did try. Like, I tried really hard. But I also, over the course of the Kickstarter... So I was like, well, that seems very weird. And, Stonehearth originally had blood in it and they took it out because it was just so gross. So I really want to express to you, I guess, that the tone at the heart of the game has shifted a lot over the last 4 years. What you see is not necessarily what was always supposed to be inside. And the fact that I wrote this for a Kickstarter, along with a short story about the necessity of glass slippers and the meaning of talismans, I think... Just like Stonehearth is like a bunch of people, like started by a bunch of people in their 30s and 40s being like, well, what kind of fairy tales do we want to tell? And sometimes when you're that age, your fairy tales are getting kind of dark and they're kind of existential. And I think that there is some of that at the bottom of Stonehearth. And then a really interesting thing happened. Over the course of the Kickstarter, I wrote everybody, I think, who pledged at the $30 tier and above, so like 11,000 people. I wrote 11,000 people mail asking like, hey, what are you most looking forward to about Stonehearth? And I got back all of these responses that were like, I love the style. I just know that this is a game I'm gonna like kick back and relax, and I'm gonna relax as I play. It's gonna be so chill. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna feel warm and cozy and comforted. And I was like, Tom, we need to talk because I think your like instinct that Stonehearth should be like secretly very violent and like secretly like Binding of Isaac. I don't think it's gonna work. I just don't. Look at these feedback. Look at all these people telling us that they can't wait to put blankets on their animals. Like, oh no. So anyway, right. Raj is like, I see now the music should have been more Bloodborne-esque. Well, it's funny, too, because, I mean, the music is based on Chrono Cross, and Chrono Cross is another game that starts out looking beautiful, and then you realize that it's, like, really, really dark, and it means that everyone from Chrono Trigger died, and, like, so I feel like we are not the first people to be, like, secretly Stonehearth has a dark core, but I do think we are one of those people who are able to look at that and be like, maybe we shouldn't actually do that. So anyhow, right, so, great, we can start this on the note that, like, first thing we've learned, looking back over time, video games, even in their tone, even in their core, change a lot as development happens. And things that are appropriate maybe once, like, if I publish this now, like, that would be very shocking, right? Like, complete with Blood Brush? Anyway, like, minutes before the incident? So, okay. Anyhow, let's continue. That's image one of many images. Here's Zombie, one of the original Stonehearth wallpapers. We learned that Stonehearth has a we've learned that Stonehearth has a murderous past, and we're looking at Zombie. See how, like, his head is the 0, is the O on the zombie? Like, who is the zombie? Who is the Black Cord? And why do all the undead have names that sound just like Ascendancy names? Anyway, this is a friend of ours named Doug. He said he would come join us if we could get him a covered parking space. This was a joke. Anyway, moving on. This was, at the very beginning when we first started to mess with the different outfits. We were like, okay, like it'd be kind of cool if some people had, like, apron-like outfits, and Tom was like, oh, this isn't quite appropriate. Like, this is, like, actually, like, not what it should be, but, like, I mean, like, you know, Link has an outfit just like this, so we figured maybe it's fine, maybe it's cool, but anyway. So, early messing with, like, what people should be and should look like. I should also mention that all these pictures, I started collecting them around the time of the Kickstarter, so in, you know, in May of 2013. Tom and Tony had actually been working on the game throughout the entirety of 2012. So there's art that's even older than the stuff here. Like, look, this is the world before there was Sky. That I don't know, like, is only on Tom's secret Dropbox account that, like, no one has access to anymore. This is the very early version, one of the many early versions of the UI, and a very early version of the placement UI. And this was this is when Tom was still like, oh yeah, I'll just draw an icon for every voxel model in the game. And it turns out that that's, like, incredibly expensive, you can't really do that, so we ended up taking photos of all of the icons instead, like photos of all of the iconics instead, and using those as the thing in the placement menu. But you can see here that, like, a lot of the stuff actually made it into the eventual building UI as, like, the icons that you click on to run the world. So here's, like, the original wooden door icon, here's the original window icon, here's the original fence icon, and they actually belonged to the iconic objects instead of this stuff. Okay, so, your friend Doug is invisible. It was Doug's parking space. It was like, hey, you can have a covered parking space if you work here, but is this going to be this kind of covered parking space? This is a Hearthling who's sleeping on a bed, and he's using the fire pit as a blanket. So, like, clearly we have collision problems, we have carrying problems, we have, like, bed alignment problems. These, like, little white boxes, if you're a team member and you're watching this, have been replaced by multiple colored boxes. I'm very sorry. Like, I'm very sorry that the boxes are still this obscure, but just so you know, people have been having interesting, like, carrying experiences for the entire time of the game. I put this one in the last Desktop Tuesday because I loved it so much. This was, like, when Tony was, like, messing with Microworld, this is the Carpenter test. I spent the first 3 months of my work on the game inside this Microworld, trying to get this dude to craft stuff at this bench and put them in the outbox. And he was just messing with it, and I felt like this was Dr. Seuss land. And this is the first thought I had that, like, actually Stonehearth could be radically different. Like, if Dr. Seuss made Stonehearth, oh my god. And so that means, like, what if, like, Star Trek made Stonehearth? What if, like, you know, Dolly made Stonehearth? Like, oh my goodness, there's a whole lot of potential here. So, what else? This is the first time that we had Hearthlings without clothes. And we were like, oh man, we should probably do something when they're naked. So Tom gave them loincloths. What else? Let's see. What is this? So Tony just writes awesome comments, I guess. Like, yeah, cool. Yes. And I felt like this was, you're looking at a conversation that, like, you know, would have currently happened on Slack, but like it's 2013, so we're still using email. And this was in a time in which we all actually sat in the same room together. All of our desks were actually in Tom's living room, and but we didn't talk. Like, we're really, like, not very social people, so we would just email each other instead of opening our mouths and talking. And sometimes we would actually, Tony and Chris actually talk out loud as they code, and that was how we'd find out how stuff was going. Like, it's like, oh, Tony's swearing, so building must not be going well right now. Anyway, so a lovely artifact of the continued, like, presence of fun comments everywhere. Tom's quote threads, right? Yes, indeed, I'm sure they're still somewhere. This is actually really interesting, because if you want to know, like, it's like, what did we think working on the game was going to be like? Like, how is it going to work? Like, what is going on? So, I actually can't remember if this is a troll board that we made as a joke to post somewhere so that you guys would, like, wonder what we were working on, or if this is actually, like, yeah, this is a troll board. So, like, this is, like, we started this board as, like, a schedule of, like, what we thought the game would be like at different times. So, like, and I just had a really bad phone back then. I don't even think I had an iPhone. So here's, like, a thing that's, like, UI improvements. Oh, we need some sort of dialogues. Okay, cool. And then, like, here was, like, our beginning of our schedule. And it's, like, Arg Doom, and are we gonna, like, do Psychonauts? And then, like, I don't know, I can't even remember, like, what Trogdar's here? Like, and then unscheduled issues, like, unresolved issues, right, like, is pathfinding 1 task or 2 tasks? Like, how you know what? Okay, like, the very best part of something. I remember there was there was an end, like, and then it was like, what else are we gonna do? And I can't even, like, it doesn't even make any sense for me. It's like, who's gonna do the stuff, and, like, how many people are gonna do this, and, like layers of indirection. Like, this, like, how, like, Northmen, like, are the Northmen, the Northern Alliance, like the people who live on the wall? And then, like, it says, Jeffers, this one's here for you. So, this is how I'm pretty sure it's a troll board, but, like, who knows? Right, our original plan was to have 24 Titans plus 7 equals what? Yeah, and then, like, I guess this is, like, Sideways Stories from Wayside School, is a book, interspecies differentiating, historical something, anyway, so, like, making this game is a lot of things. And here's the wombat, and this is Pepe's pirate ship. So, you know, a tiny glimpse of how things were going for us here at the end of the Kickstarter, like, right after we moved into our first office. Okay. Where's this going? Alright, so, a close-up of Pepe's pirate ship. You can see it sitting on the floor because we don't have any furniture yet. And this is the time when this carpet was, like, brand new, and it was amazing. It wasn't brand new by the end. I really love this pirate ship. It's still sitting outside in the office by the television. This was from a really, really, really old Desktop Tuesday. And I think that someone originally thought it was a Desktop Tuesday about pools, like swimming pools, but in actuality, it's a Desktop Tuesday about the Pathfinder. And it shows that even back then, we were having a lot of trouble with the Pathfinder. So, like, this is like, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to get to this log. Like, I'm trying to visualize the path. I'm trying to figure out the space of everywhere I could be. And just, like, having these guys all try to figure out how to take this log and restock it, like, we were trying to create visualizations that would help us figure out why this was so constantly problematic. And, I mean, I think that now we have 5 years worth of experience saying that, like, this is a hard problem, but here's some evidence that we were struggling with it, even at the very beginning. And here's the fire pit, and here's what we called, sample object, and I made sample object, so I'm very proud of it. And it shows you, like, there's secret hidden seats around the fire pit, which is where people go to sit. And so, and so this is where they are. If you know how to manage your stubbiness, it's a surefire path to Cutesville. That's still true. Allie, if you're watching this, I'm sure, like, you would agree that's still true. Like the idea behind, you know, a lot, like, this wombat is critical to Stonehearth's development, because a lot of understanding how to make a thing look good for Stonehearth is like understanding how understanding how to make everything look like a plushie. Like, if you can reduce everything you're making, even a chair, down to have like plushie proportions, then you can probably make it look good in voxels. And so anyway, he has a really good eye for this sort of thing. What else is in here? A close-up on the Pathfinder visualization. Oh right, this is like a super early version of the game. The very, very, very first time it had fire. Like, so Chris made the cube emitter, and Tom messed with the cube emitter in, like, a JSON file until it produced fire, and it was so magical. Like, the world became so much more alive after that. Oh, hey, Relis. That's not bad. It's bad! Yeah. And then, immediately, like, of course the first thing we had after we had fire was people standing in fire. So, yeah. Okay, so other story, we were about to go out to lunch when he did the fire, and we all just like stood around his laptop looking at the fire inside the game, just like the Hearthlings were standing around the fire pit looking at the fire, like in the game. It was very hypnotic, and we'd never seen anything like it, and the cube emitters had a little spin to them, and it was so magical. And like, if you think we were like so impressed with this fire, we thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. Like, I think about the way that the fire pit looks now, and what Mally has done with it, and I just want to cry. It's like, we really had no idea how much better the game could look. We really had no idea how much, like, a full-time professional artist could do to the game. We didn't even know it was wrong. Like, I think someone once looked at the old fire pit effect and told me that it looked like a bunch of dust motes in a draft, like, under, like, a vent. And, like, to me, that was absolutely not what it looked like. How dare they say that? It looked like fire. But of course, real fire looks different, and we're just simulating things, you know. I think Mally also says something like how an artist is able to tell how it is that the thing doesn't really look real, but the average person on the street who doesn't have that training can't tell why it doesn't look right. And so here we are. Like, we can't tell why this game isn't a game yet. We can't tell why the fire doesn't look right. It's 2013 and this is their first game and we're very naive. But right, okay. So, immediately after fire, we have person immolating themselves. Of course, Hearthlings are still invulnerable to fire, so it's still fine. This is the first time that we had fire in the world, like, with shadows and everything in it. And, like, you can see that, like, we've put this wolf in the background. I don't actually think this wolf does anything yet, but, like, it's the first time that a person is like, you know, oh my gosh, like kind of scared because there's a wolf in the background. And this is the time back when the saw, like, the talismans, like, lived over the objects. And let me see if I can zoom in. So, here's the wolf looking at the fire. Here's the person running from something. And here's this one Hearthling who is trying to warm his hands by the fire, but this person's here instead, and so he's, like, just very far away. So this is, like, some of the earliest pictures that I've got of what Stonehearth looked like before it was Stonehearth. What else is going on here? Alright, so we're still using Sublime. We're using, I think this is, like, Source Tree in order to manage all of our files. And you can see that the UI is entirely these two buttons. I hope this is interesting to you. Like, let me know if this isn't, but, like, if it is, like, I hope so, because, I could do this forever. Alright, so more wolf, more fire. Like, I feel like this is just this vignette of, like, you know, what is it like to live in Hearth in the early days? Okay, I'm glad it's interesting to you. Good, we'll keep going. And then, I can't remember what happened here. This was like, oh, we're just gonna add a bunch of fire pits. What happens if there's more than one fire pit? Like, here's this wolf, it's still here. Okay. Let's keep moving. Right, so this fire pit, like, it only has a little bit of light around it, right? And the cube emitter obfuscates it. You think that the light is coming from the fire particles, but it's not actually. Like, so what is actually happening? Well, the light is just coming from the fire pit itself. Like, here's what it looks like. Here's what it looked like without the cube emitter. And so, I feel like Mally and Angelo are probably crying right now because clearly you can take the fire pit effect out and see that real firelight just doesn't look like this. Like, it's not this color, like, it's not this color green, like, oh my goodness. But this is actually a test of, like, how people move between fire pits, and, like, when I was writing the center of attention spot component, which is what, you know, is, like, the thing that allows people to stand around the fire, like, this is what I was doing. So I started by working on the carpenter, and then I moved on to working on the fire pit. You're not crying because you fixed it! I'm super glad you fixed it. Okay. Next. Right! This is one of my favorite pictures. This is like, So after I worked on Fire Pit, I worked on food. Like, how do we get food? How do we harvest food? What's the food stuff doing? This was the food test. So this was the test where people were like, I'm supposed to like gather berries, and then if there's a chair in the world, I should sit in the chair and eat it, and if there's no chair in the world, I should sit on the ground and eat it. And as you can see, like, we just had a lot of shenanigans about berry bush carrying. I mean, it's just awesome. Like, I should make a costume that is this costume. I'll be this person. Like, I'll just make a giant box and like cover it with like purple blobs, and everyone will be like, are you sick? Like, is this some sort of like monster fursuit? And I'm like, no, I'm a hearthling in a berry bush. Anyway, the other thing that's here is, like, you can see that there used to be a log of all the journal entries, and they used to just sort of span the lower right corner of the window. Right. So before we actually went live with the game, we did something which was really, really super smart. I can say that because it was all Tony's idea. It was not my idea. It was super, super smart. We actually pushed out a graphics test of the game so that everybody could test whether their graphics card could run the game without the game actually being there. And so the graphics test was really, really fabulous because we were able to everyone was able to figure out before the moment, like, it's like there's nothing like buying a game and opening it and then loading it up and then discovering that you have to update your graphics drivers and that maybe you can't and that maybe you screw up. I totally did this right before I was going to play Andromeda. I'd been waiting for Andromeda for like a year. Like, I somehow installed the wrong graphics drivers. It borked my whole computer. You know, you need to go back into safe mode. You need to clean all this stuff out. You need to start over. It can be like an entire weekend process to update your graphics drivers so that you can play a game you're really excited about. And so we knew this. And so Tony was like, okay, in order to prevent anyone from having that, oh no, it's Christmas, but my toy doesn't have any batteries and it's Christmas, so I can't go to the store and they don't sell batteries. Like, you can't buy batteries anywhere. I'm gonna send out this graphics test. Everyone's gonna test the game with the graphics test first. And then you're going to have all of your graphics card angst, and then you're going to actually be able to play the game. And we also, like, had people tell us what their graphics cards were, so that we could figure out how well the game was running on different graphics cards, like, in the aggregate. Yeah, this is the old Stonehearth logo when it was still a font, before Tom got super mad because other people had found the font and could duplicate the logo. So he was like, I'm going to make this font. I'm going to make the logo by hand, so now no one can copy it. Awesome. Right, old font, old logo. Here's Jeffers. When the dust is settled, release is out there, and you're all winding down. Jeffers, that's today. Okay. That's when you open up Learn with Radiant! Learn with Radiant's $200 a week training program, where you do little lessons on how to mod with Stonehearth. I'll get to work on the business plan tonight. And Steve Adama replies, work on game, distribute preview release, take over internets, open training camp, become a billionaire. I'm gonna cry. Okay, let's just leave that there. If anyone would like to, like, a Learn with Radiant program where you pay $200 a week, like, for little lessons on how to mod, like, I don't think we actually have the bandwidth to do that right now, but thanks for reminding me, Jeffers, that was a cool idea. Alright, moving along. I thought that this was amazing because it was the first time that I realized that, like, you guys could all add, like, art that was in Stonehearth style and that it would be really amazing. Yes. And then you went crazy with the graphics test. Like, the graphics test was a very small universe, and then people, like, started, like, replacing parts of it with... The graphics test just had, like, a little block and a tree. And people, you guys were amazing. I was, like, crying with joy. This is, like, why I love going to the discourse, why I'm, like, addicted to going to the discourse every Monday, because over the weekend you do all this stuff. And so people were, like, making these giant models in Cubicle, and then like, hacking the graphics test with them, and then, like, you see this one poor Hearthling lady, and, like, here it is, desolate Mordor, or whatever. So, yeah. The Steffers and Jodamo siphoning center for painting and stuff. Wow, I haven't thought about that one in a while. Maybe you can necro that thread. But yeah, these skeletons, right? And this, like, Hearthling, and she's like, okay, I guess I'm here now. I guess I'm here. I guess we'll do this. Like, wow, I wonder why these trees are golden on the inside. Is that sap? I bet that's just sap. Okay, what else? Alright, so this is, like... Tony was like, if I spend 5 months, probably I can finish building. Okay, so that didn't work. But like, like this is the very first version of building with the blueprints, and you can see that the bed's a blueprint too. This is the ghost before the ghost became a semi-translucent version. And then this is like the Hearthlings attempting to build the simple one-room house. And this was all they could build in Alpha 1. Before they could build in Alpha 1, I'm sorry this is the only picture that they have. You know they need to build scaffolding, right? Well, I was having, like, the worst time trying to really not hack in. I was trying to get the scaffolding to work right. The scaffolding is made out of lots of interlaced puzzle pieces, and I was just having a pain in the neck trying to get the puzzle pieces to line up correctly. So, a Hearthling head is about the size of a piece of scaffolding. So let's just use those. Yes. I did turn the heads in so that you can't actually see them, like the eyes facing out, because I thought that that was a little bit too creepy. But here is the scaffolding with just heads. I was honestly pretty proud of myself. What I learned was that they built the scaffolding, they used the scaffolding to build the house, everything's good, and then then we were able to spend like another week trying to get the like scaffolding to line up properly. Heads facing in, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. Nothing is wrong. Look, Max, I just spent some time at the beginning talking about how Stonehearth was secretly going to be a really dark game. Like, I mean, you know? Anyway. An ugly mud crab says, do you ever consider making building work? With just Hearthlings standing at the base and hammering with blocks sort of rising up? No, actually. From the very beginning, like, we wanted to see this, like, adorableness of the Hearthlings building block by block. Tony Cannon does have a really lovely quote from maybe 2016 or so that was like, in the end, in the retro, Radiant's fixation on block by block building was eventually the decision that sunk the ship. That's like, you know, maybe like 40% true, insofar as like, I do think we spent an inordinate amount of time trying to get building to work right, and watching the building is an amazing simulation, and it's an amazing toy, but it's not really a great game. Like, it's like you build the thing, and then you just sort of chill out and relax as you watch the Hearthlings build it. But there's a verisimilitude that was at the heart of Stonehearth that made it feel like everything was real in the world, and so the block by block building was a big part of that, and so we didn't want to let that go, because when you're making your first game, you only know a little bit about what it is you want to be true, and so as a result, you're like worried about letting go of the things that you know have resonance, because you don't know what else might have resonance. And so I think if we had had a better understanding of how the game was going to be a really great game, maybe we could have let go of the block by block building, let everyone hammer on it, and just have the building rise, and we would have been able to spend a lot of time working on gameplay. But we didn't know what we would have added from gameplay, and so that was kind of difficult. So if I had to do this over again from the beginning, I think what I would do instead is just keep the block by block building, but make it okay to cheat some more. Like right now, it doesn't cheat very much at all, and we're very proud of that fact, but like it doesn't necessarily, the fact that it doesn't cheat doesn't make the game a better game, really. Like, it just makes the game a kind of like amazing one-off wonder of a simulation. Right. Is the USP, like, I don't kind of want to know what USP is standing for, but it is very charming, right? And you only see it in Stonehearth because only crazy, ignorant, like very naive people would decide that this is what they were going to build their game on. Right, it's a touch of realism and cute progression. Like, it's a touch of realism and cute progression that in the retro of it